I think that's the best intro you've ever done.
Thanks.
So this month we are comparing New Age Jokers, which is Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, I can't wait.
I definitely can't wait, but I do also want to say that I really wanted to do the classics, but there's just way too much to talk about, I think, in one episode.
Well, we might even make this a two-parter and do the second part later.
Tuned.
Awesome.
Okay, so shall we get started?
Okay, so we're doing 2008's Dark Knight. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'll get into that, but do you want to tell everyone what this one was about?
When the menace known as the Joker wreaks havoc and chaos on the people of Gotham, Batman must accept one of the greatest psychological and physical tests of his ability to fight injustice.
Yeah. Okay, so shall we begin?
I loved this one. As you know, I'm not a huge Batman fan, but I loved this one.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't seen this one, and then I went, oh yeah, no, I have.
So you're saying that the movie was almost unforgettable for you?
Unforgettable? No, but I forgot that I had watched it when it first came out, and it was incredible, and it still holds up.
Right.
You know, almost 10 years on, and how much cinema has changed.
Yeah.
It still holds up.
So I think I've voiced my opinions on this one before on the podcast, but I would have to say I think I'm swayed a little bit after having to go back and rewatch them. My views on it aren't as negative as I've made them out to be.
For Dark Knight?
Yeah, so I've said it before. I've always thought it received more attention than it should have. Mm-hmm. And I think, sadly, around certain things that had happened, I thought that it just boosted the movie up when it shouldn't have been boosted up for those reasons.
Fair call.
That was then. But when I went back and rewatched it, I'm like, you know what? I can see a lot more. I think now that I'm a bit older and I watched it, definitely to the first time I watched it.
And can we just say, like, obviously, Heath Ledger's role in this is amazing.
Yes.
He was believable as a psychopath. He was believable as just a crazy man.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think his voice, the way he did his voice in that one was really, really good. Again, after I've gone back and watched it, I think he really does bring crazy out very well. It's almost believable that you just don't know how this person is going to react, and that's what you want in a villain. You want to be scared and always on the edge of your seat because you don't know what they're going to do.
But also, like, you do have a little bit of sympathy, which, you know, I'm just like...
Yeah, I don't get the sympathy in this one. Nowhere near as much as I do in the later one.
Oh, Hundo P.
Yeah, which we are definitely going to elaborate on.
Yes.
I think he brought something new to this film that no one, or to the role that no one had done. It's always been very energetic and gleeful and
campy.
Yes, yeah, very cartoony. And you know what? It has always worked for each of the others, but this was new and twisted, and like obviously Christopher Nolan was trying to do, was to make the films much more darker. He definitely accomplished like that with Heath Ledger.
No, I get it, and even Christian Bale was amazing.
Yes, yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah, but always.
I do want to point out in this film though, I really liked Scarecrow in this. I thought he was done very well for a character that never gets entered onto the screens except for the cartoons.
Oh yeah.
And I just think he was very much overshadowed. He was only in it for a small portion of this one because he was the main baddie in the first one of these series, but he's just, I think he did the trilogy, right? So Heath Ledger shone out of all of that, and I think there are just other aspects of the other ones that were really good that just don't get looked at as much.
No, I agree with that. And like you were saying off air, that, you know, each Joker brings on something from the previous Joker.
Yes, they're always in the previous Joker's shadows. So Jack Nicholson will always be in Cesar Romero's. Heath Ledger's going to be in Jack Nicholson's. You know, it's just always going to be like that. And you have to try and point out what's new that each of them can bring, and whether or not they stay true to the character, but in their own unique way.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Who's your Batman?
Oh, I don't have a Batman. You know what I
Really?
mean? So, like, to me, I always like the villains or the movie itself, but I never liked it for the actors. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if I'd have to pick a movie, I like the Michael Keaton with the Joker.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Or, the original one, I'm so sorry, I forgot his name.
Adam West. Yeah.
Adam West.
He's cool.
As soon as I thought about that, I just thought about Adam West on
Yeah.
Family Guy.
Yeah. He was the best character. Oh.
But that's the Batman that I grew up with.
Yes.
Is the comics and the
Yes.
Adam West version.
Yes.
Okay, so
I do have one
yes,
last thing about
please.
this film, and I think this is another big reason why I never got into this film as much as everyone else. I love Two-Face, and I really love Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face.
Oh, yeah.
And they just didn't do Harvey Dent justice. Even in the comics and the cartoons, he was way better, and
Oh no, that's what I was going to mention. Is that was pretty.
it was terrible. And to do half of
That
his
was
body as
poo-poo.
like a burned body, it just they really stuffed that up. And I think I remember when I watched it, I was so angry with how he looked. I just couldn't see the rest of the film. Like I was sulking.
That's something that has aged, but it's also just terrible.
Yeah, like I was always Two-Face fan over the Joker. So I don't really like the rest of that film. I like Jim Carrey in that, but I like it
Danny
for Two-Face.
DeVito?
No, that was a different one.
Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, that's the fourth one. That was the one after this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the one that I'm talking about is Batman Forever.
Wait, is that the one with Alicia Silverstone?
That one's Batman and Robin, I think.
Or is it Batman Begins?
Oh, we're terrible. We did no research on the titles of
I
the
don't
film,
know,
clearly.
But yeah, they were. In all honesty, those ones are my favorites.
I love Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. And when I saw Harvey Dent was terrible, I know we're actually sidetracking here. We're talking about Batman, not the Joker.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Joker, because that's what we're analysing.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Heath Ledger was an amazing Joker.
Yeah, he was good in Dark, which I liked. I do like that they brought in like the Chelsea smile. That was really cool. And it was funny how he, like, in a psychotic way, it was funny how he would joke about it differently to each person. It was either his wife that had it or it was his dad that gave it to him. It was just, you can see where some of his twisted humor is coming out in just setting that up across the movie.
Yeah. How many stars do you rate this one?
Movie reels.
One day we'll get there.
Out of 5 movie reels, now that I've gone back to watch it, I would give this a 4 to a 4.5 in Batman films. However, as a Joker, in the New Age Jokers, I'd put him at about 3.5 to 4.
How would you rank him out of...
We'll get to that at the end.
Okay, fine. Sheesh, way to
What
shut me
would
down.
you rate the Joker reel for this one?
I'd probably go about a 3.5, because I'm not a huge Batman fan. And also, as we were talking about Two-Face just being a bit meh, a bit poo-poo. But, I'm gonna, 3.5.
Yeah, it was about 3.5 to
Because
4.
it's also quite a long movie. It's 2.5
So we're getting,
hours.
that's in the movie itself, but
Yeah.
as the character, what
Yeah.
would you would rate him as 3.5 as well?
No, I'm gonna go a 7.
7 movie reels out of 5.
Oh, I thought you meant out of 10. I'm so sorry.
Somebody clearly doesn't pay attention.
No, out of 5, I'm gonna go a 3.5, which is basically
Okay.
a 7.
Okay, so we're both pretty well agreed on rating the Joker himself mid range. The film itself, we would go lower.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what do you reckon it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, this film is highly liked, so I would guess that it's about 97.
You are so close. 94.
I think that's the closest I've ever got.
I think so.
I knew so.
94%.
Yeah, like that's the thing that I've had to say in the past on my opinions, that I feel that it was overrated at the time for what it was. But shall we move on to the next Joker
Yes.
which was Jared Leto in The Suicide Squad. Now, if you guys are long-time listeners...
I'm sorry, I had to. That movie is literally
terrible.
the worst movie.
It is. If you guys are long-term listeners, you would have listened to, I think it was January this year, we did The Suicide Squad against Batman Assault on Arkham. So you should know this character very well by now.
Can I just say it is utter poo-poo?
Yes.
All right, so first of all, a secret government agency recruits some of the most dangerous incarcerated supervillains to form a defensive task force. Their first mission, save the world from the apocalypse.
Which is a synopsis of a film that doesn't even involve the menace Joker in the title. So,
Yes.
just saying. So he was more of a cameo in this one, which, again, is kind of a bit sad because the Joker's always sort of there.
He's so well known in the Batman universe that
Yeah,
you expect
and
him to be part of
even villains of Batman are afraid of him, you know? But in saying that, they have so many great side stories of all the other characters, which is good. But I feel like when this film was done, they were relying on the hint of a Joker. Like, they marketed it so well prior, like just showing the tattoo with the smile on his face and things like that. And I think they were riding on the cameo of the Joker in this to be good. When, as you would all know, the cartoon Batman Assault on Arkham didn't even really need to rely on him to make the film good. Like, the cartoon story was much better, and you didn't even have to drop a name to coax people into the cinema.
Yeah, no, I agree. But also, I liked, the hokiness of Batman and stuff, but he was just... Like, even his laugh was terrible.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He was
my God, that was so
as soon as he
annoying.
came on, I was just like, can you please get off the screen? You're really, creepy.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I can see what they tried to do with this Joker. I can see how they tried to invent a new look. It's modern times, it's gangsters out there, people who run the street and think they look like supermodels. I can see why they're trying to make him look like that.
Yeah.
And after having to go back and rewatch it, his Joker voice isn't too bad. His laugh was terrible, but the voice that he put on for the Joker was actually really, really decent. And Jared Leto is an epic baddie. Like, we know he's not a bad actor. I just think, unfortunately, he tried to invent something that couldn't be invented.
But I also think that it's maybe not his acting, it's the writing.
Yeah, exactly. Because whoever wrote that screwed up the whole, original story and went with the freaking Enchantress.
Oh! I still want my 2 hours back from that movie.
I know, but you'll never get it back. But let's go back to the Joker. We keep getting sidetracked into movies. I despise what he wore. I hate how they made his body this buff, tattooed man. That is not... The Joker was always slender, or excluding Jack Nicholson and Cesar Romero. But he was always that well-dressed man in a suit. He wasn't a guy walking around with tattoos and baring his chest to people.
And he, because he didn't make it obvious that he was the Joker when he wasn't being the Joker.
Yes. One thing I will say about this film, I think if they didn't cut as many of his scenes that he had originally done, he might have been more liked because you got the full story. I feel like every time he was on the scene, it was always a different emotion he was displaying. He was heartbroken that Harley Quinn wasn't there, or he'd be angry. Yeah. And if you weren't a Batman fan and you didn't know their story, then you wouldn't know. And it just seemed like they cut too much of his story away to make him seem like he didn't fit.
Yeah, in all honesty, I just thought he was the worst.
Yep.
And he, I get it. Jared Leto is an amazing actor. He can do some really good things.
Yes.
But
not this one.
Not this one.
Yes. And I'm so annoyed because he doesn't like the next film, Joaquin Phoenix's film. He got to Twitter and he despised it. And
sorry, I'm just laughing at some memes and some things that are just... Yeah, because he's
popping into your head?
Popping into my head. But obviously, your Joker is completely different to Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
So it move on. You were Joker for a little bit.
Yes.
That was your story. That was your time to shine. Get over it.
Yeah.
like doctors, you know what I mean? Like from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
They,
That was your season.
Yeah.
You're no longer the Doctor. It's the next person's go
and
to
we
shine.
can still love you as the Joker and stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But we love the story and we want
Yeah.
the story to go. But when he was there, I did not like the story.
No.
So another thing with Jared Leto, if you watch his deleted scenes, it focuses more around Harley Quinn and how he obviously got in her mind, which that was a great backstory for her. And she was in the film more, so it went with the film.
Yeah.
I think that for the first time of live actors with a Harley Quinn and a Joker, I think they really managed to capture the terrible elements of that terrible relationship.
Yes.
And you could clearly see it as an outsider watching them portray it, because sometimes some people out there, and I know that they're just comic fans, but they might put like hearts around them and go, oh, like relationship goals, and it's like, but that is
That is the most toxic relationship
yes,
in the entire world.
yes,
You do not
and
want that.
I think that they did that well because they showed you that. Whereas sometimes people think, oh no, it's true love and stuff, and
Yes, but that's another thing that I like. I do like the fact that this movie, Suicide Squad, also had Harley Quinn, because Joker and Harley Quinn almost go hand in hand.
yes.
And it's good that the other two movies didn't have her, because it obviously didn't sit the movie or the situation.
Yeah.
But it was just, nice to see how they got together and
We're able to bring that forward.
Exactly what you said about the fact that it showed that he was a psychopath and that he manipulated her.
Yeah.
And that's how she became Harley Quinn. And
Yeah.
it was just, really interesting. And I like the fact that it went back and it showed them with the old school, with like the medieval like Joker.
Where she was in her Jester outfit.
Jester, that's it.
Yeah. One thing I disliked about that is they put him in a black tuxedo and he was always predominantly in a purple tuxedo. And it's like, if you're going to go that to the lengths of making sure you have the correct jacket type,
Yep.
why not finish it with the correct color? But it wouldn't have suited the way they did that shot. They did it with the spotlight shining on them and everything else was black. So yeah, I don't think the color would have worked, but they should have kept it the same.
Yeah. Or even made it a darker purple.
Yes. Yeah. Like a nice velvet would have gone with that or something.
All right. So what do you vote this Joker?
Okay. For film, we've already pre-done. We don't need to vote the film. As the Joker himself, I'm giving him a 1.5.
I'm giving him a 0.5.
Copy me.
No, I said 0.5.
Oh, 0.5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's low.
He wasn't right for this. And he just was too bulky and not like lanky like the Joker normally is. He's acting, he can do so much better.
I know, like, I mean, look at him in the Blade Runner second film. He was so good in that. And he was the like...
Hashtag never seen it.
Oh my God. I think we need to do this next year.
Okay, fine. Okay.
That was freaking awesome.
I've never seen the original
saga.
either.
That's the sound of my heart breaking. Oh my God. How could you have never seen them for a sci-fi fan?
I know.
Did you never have to study it?
No.
I had to study it in English even.
No, we did like Jasper Jones and stuff. We never got to do.
Okay,
fun
I
stuff.
promise all the listeners out there that this is going to be one of my movie selections next year.
That's it. I was actually thinking about we should do that as a movie selection anyway.
Hell's yeah, if it means that I get to force you to watch them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, done.
Done.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Okay. What do you reckon it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
Okay, now I know we have gone through this, but I have forgotten what the score was, so I'm going to try and guess again. I'm going to guess about 32%.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot we did it on already. 27%.
Would you like to move on, which I'm personally very excited to talk about? Joaquin
and here
Phoenix.
comes all of our content, because we are going to be talking about 2019's Joker.
Yes, so I'll let you read it, and then I am going to... Bleh.
I
I have
cannot
so
wait.
much to say about this one.
So do I. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're going to do the 2019 Joker. In Gotham City, mentally troubled comedian Arthur Fleck is disregarded and mistreated by society. He then embarks on a downward spiral of revolution and bloody crime. This path brings him face to face with his alter ego, the Joker.
So I went and saw this on opening night at the Hayden Orpheum Cinema in Sydney. It was really, really good. I saw it on the 70mm screen. They just had the lights set up so perfect on the curtain. Like, it was really good to see it there.
Okay.
This movie, where do I start? I loved it. I've spoken to some people who dislike it.
It's completely like split.
It just
You either really
like
love it or
you really hate it.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
This was a whole new level of the Joker, and I think he had a lot of room to play with it because it was a standalone. It's not connected to the DCEU, which was good because I hope they don't try and connect it later, which it's Hollywood, they most likely will, and they'll ruin it. But it was the way I perceived it. I feel like when you watch all of the comedy ones later and they're always laughing at a joke because they think they're so funny or something, I feel like you're seeing the other side of that. You're seeing what he's seeing and why he's laughing.
Yeah.
Like when you see him start to laugh at things and it's like, we would have missed the joke if we were watching, say, Mark Hamill in the animated series or something. Whereas I feel like you're getting an insight, like when he would dance around as the Joker and it's like, but we're listening to what he's listening to as he's walking down this like stairs and stuff. So we're getting that insight that we've never had with the Joker before.
His laugh was incredible.
But that is probably the one down point I thought of this. Like his laugh was great. They didn't need to have it as like a Tourette's thing.
No, that's what I was
annoying.
say as well.
Yes, but yeah, he was so good at that.
When he's taking off his clothes and you see his ribs and you see how thin he is.
Yeah.
I felt so uncomfortable, which I think obviously that's what
Like
it's
the
meant to do.
scene that they show you coming in from behind and he's bent over trying to open the clown chute and you see his butt. He just looks like Gollum, when he's all hunched over. It's not human almost.
It made me just feel so uncomfortable and I wanted to go in there and just be like, can you have some cake,
Please eat. Let's just give you all the food you want.
But also the relationship between him and his mother.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah, that was done very, very well.
Perfect. This was fantastic, and I think what people got split about, talking about some other people, is the fact that the Joker meets Bruce Wayne when he's quite little and that everybody's freaking out about the Joker's not that old, but that's why it's a standalone. Also, it's a multi-universe.
Yeah, I have to say, though, I really disliked that they brought that feature in to
I don't know
the
why
story.
they had to.
And they really, in my opinion, they really tainted Thomas Wayne's image. And the fact that Thomas Wayne was a good man in Bruce's eyes, that encourages him to become Batman, But I mean, I know that the comics and cartoons always alluded to the fact that his dad was involved in some dodgy stuff, but deep down he always knew that there'd be good out there. So he thrived off of that thought of his dad.
Yeah.
And I think they just really tainted that a bit when they added that in.
Also, with like his relationship with Sophie, you were just thinking, wow, are they together? And then when you find out that it was all in his head, that was just like blew my mind.
My partner guessed that straight away. I surprisingly was so into the story that I didn't even pay attention to that. Like I was just
that's not like you at all.
I know. When everyone's like, yeah, it was so obvious, and I'm like, I was so invested in Arthur, and I was just captivated by like the soundtrack. I was so involved in his story that I couldn't even see the simple things like that. But it just
was the most absolute shocking was when he was on the Late Show and he killed the host. I honestly was not expecting that to happen.
That was very good. That was so a lot of people that I was chatting to about this, they didn't like that scene. They didn't like how precise he was. But the Joker was always crazy. Like he didn't have a plan, but he was smart enough to make it look like he didn't have a plan. And it was good because you could see the precision in it. Like he's like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and have some fun, but I know what I need to do. And it it was just done so brilliantly.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at
The
all.
silhouette when he comes out, like when they open the like curtains, it just was so good. They did silhouettes and cinematography of like that whole thing was done. Oh, amazing.
I've said this to people, and I'm willing to say it on record. My favorite movie so far of 2019.
Yeah, agreed.
I haven't seen Little Women, so can't.
Yes, but you may see that in the new year.
Yes, which we are. Everybody knows we're doing.
Yeah, but you might want to go and see it on Christmas Day when it comes out.
Oh yeah, smart.
We'll see
This
when
is
you
why we're
get around.
friends.
But back to the story, you almost see the imagery when we were talking back to his body. You can almost see the imagery there that he is barely human by how beast-like his body had gone, and the neglect of his body. It's almost like when the body dies, figuratively, then he's being reborn.
Yeah.
Which you can kind of see that there. There are some elements of this film that I think were not executed well. They were too blunt and kind of tainted the parts of the story that they were trying to get out.
I found that it was a little bit slow in some places as well, but that aside, it's still amazing.
So the element that I think that they did not communicate properly was him being removed off of his medication, and then that is supposed to make him out like the Joker. I think they could have still put that in there, but maybe done a bit more subtly.
Yes.
They wouldn't have got the negative comments that they have been getting about that if they did it differently. But at the same time, I can understand it's in a whole fictional universe where you've got to remember this city is meant to be going through like riots at this stage in the comics and stuff. So you can almost understand how you can link that in, but I just think they could have done it more subtly.
I agree. All right. What do you think this one got?
I'm not finished.
Oh,
so
sorry.
I just need one final,
Okay.
This movie is so good, okay? I loved it. He was brilliant. He delved into such a dark, sad pit.
I remember going on record ages ago saying, I don't know how I feel about this as Joker. Yes. I went in and I was still like, I don't know. We are not worthy.
Like, it just, you know how we were saying each Joker brings something new to this one. He brought, I was sympathizing with him the whole way through the movie. As soon as he got up and like shot the guys on the train, I still sympathized for him because, you know, he was the one being beat up, and I wanted that anarchy at the end because you were like I was saying, I was so drawn into that character. He just did it so brilliantly that I was just mesmerized. He kind of grabbed elements. If you've seen the Batman cartoon or read the comic, I strongly suggest you do either of those. Batman the Killing Joke. They kind of took elements of Arthur Fleck from that. So he was trying to be a comedian, but he had a wife and a child he couldn't fend for. And then he goes on to a dodgy job site and ends up becoming like Red Hood for a bit. But that's when he goes into madness. Whereas you can see some of it where he's trying to be that stand-up comedian in this, and the sadness of what tips him over the edge to become the Joker. So they kind of grabbed some of that, and that was a good story. And I sympathize with him all the way through until I sit there and remember, holy crap, I remember what you did to Barbara in The Killing Joke, so I don't sympathize for you anymore.
I was so sympathetic the entire time until he killed his mother, and I went, no, you know what, I sympathized so much with him, and I understood why he killed his mother. She lied to him all of these years, and she abused him and things. When he killed Murray, I was just like, nah, like that was just too much.
No, I thought that was done well. Like, it was, he'd never spoken out. He always had to deal with what everyone would say. He couldn't talk. He couldn't let people know exactly what he was like. And it was like he had the time to finally, you could see, he's like, I'm going to lay it out. This is who I am now.
Oh, that was an amazing speech.
And then to get his, like, revenge, it was so swift, and it even went, I think it goes silent at one point just after the gun goes off, and you feel like you're sitting in that audience thinking, holy shit, what's just happened?
Yeah.
And I thought it was done well.
Yeah, but that's when I stopped losing sympathy for him, because
You're like, oh, he's becoming the Joker now.
Yeah.
He's becoming a killer.
And that's exactly
I loved when he was in the car, like the cop car ride after that, and you could see just, again, because you're sympathizing for this guy who's just been beaten, and I cannot believe how many times he got beat up in that film. And you see the first actual true smile when he just sees, oh, I'm finally in the world where I should be, where all the anarchy is happening, and you see that smile. That was done well.
And then at the end, when he's in hospital and just dancing, and just, that's when I was like, he's the Joker.
Like at the end when he laughs and he's like, you wouldn't get it, and I'm like, now we're seeing the other side of him, where we're now not included in the joke. Yeah. So we're included in all of his jokes up until the end.
Oh my god! I didn't know that.
I know, I loved it, because like that's what I kept thinking the whole way through, and I'm like, we don't even get to know the joke anymore. Like, you are the Joker now.
Wow, that's like the little sound of my, oh my goodness.
I told you I really got into this film. I did. But yeah, that's how I perceived it.
But
no one's understood me until, thank God, because I'm sitting here thinking maybe I'm perceiving this movie wrong.
No, that makes like a gazillion %.
Yeah, like if you see, you know, like it's the dancing is what made me think about it, because you see him dance in all his different forms. But he constantly went back to a particular song that he would dance to in the room with his mom, and it's like we can see it and we're included, and then later you don't hear the music that he's hearing when he's dancing. You just think he's a crazy man, like dancing in death with people dying around him.
Can I ask now? What do you reckon?
One last thing I just have to say. This movie is so good.
It really is.
I really loved this version of the Joker. I know people are going to shoot me down because I don't think everyone liked it, but I don't care. I loved it. The acting was phenomenal. The music, it was just, it was stunning. The score, the silhouette shots, the cinematography. The downfall is the screenplay. I think they could have improved. Like I said, things that should have been executed differently. The cinematography is where I would drop my score for this one, but it was just good. If you're not too squeamish about certain, like if you don't like being confronted with like mental health and things like that, I wouldn't suggest it for you, because he's just very believable in that role.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. What do you reckon it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm a bit unsure, because I do know the stigma that happened around this film. Like, a lot of people said it shouldn't have been released just because of issues that happened in the world with the Joker guy going in the cinema. That's why it wasn't, you know, where you went and saw The King?
Yeah.
It was meant to be out there, but they had to change it because they thought security risk.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and I can understand why people are negative towards this, because, you know, unfortunately this film could influence the wrong person, and it's something we don't need more of in the world.
No.
Yeah.
It's still not an answer.
So, as a Joker, I'm giving him a 4. I just think there are just a few things. Mostly, I'd have to say it's the Tourette's laugh.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
That was not needed. I think everything else, he was just stunning.
I'm giving him 4.5.
I would almost go 4.5. It's only the Tourette's thing that I didn't like.
It's only the Tourette's thing. He was absolutely incredible. What do you think it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm actually going to change. I'm going to go 4.5 too.
Oh, okay.
Because when I think about it, you know what? Him as an actor, and I only focused on a character, he had me captivated the whole way through. So I'm going to change that. Film-wise, I would give it 4 movie reels. I would stick to a strong 4 on that one.
That's exactly what I'm giving with the movie
Like I said, the screenplay really needed to be done differently, and certain messages they were trying to get out needed to be done differently. As for Rotten Tomatoes, I think it would have gotten around the 80% mark.
Nowhere near close. It got 69.
I knew it. I was gonna say around 60, but I'm like, no, I'll try and give it the benefit. Like I was saying before, I know that there were certain political issues that have tainted the film.
And also because like you said, it's very mental health heavy.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, and you find out why he's got all these issues. And I think that...
And people don't like being confronted with that. And that's why they come out and they hate it, because they're like, we don't need to see someone descend into madness. And it's like, but if you can step away from that and look at it, hey, this is Batman. We need, you know, that's what you're going to see.
It's a movie, not a documentary.
Yes. But some of the reasons I can really understand, like I said, I'm
No, I understand.
I can get it. I think just the wrong time it was released. If they had have waited, they might have swayed a few more of the critics' opinions of this one.
All right, let's move on to Nerdazon's
Nerdy
Nerdy Notables. Okay, first up, I owe you. Yes, you were right, and that I should listen to you. Wounds?
Please keep attending to my ego.
Okay, so Wounds was the most terrible movie I've ever seen in my life.
So she sent me the trailer ages ago and she's like, I really want to watch it. Surprise, surprise, for an actor she is obsessed with. And this is where you can come undone. So I said that movie looks terrible. It is going to be exactly like Bad Samaritan that we had to watch because David Tennant was in it. But I'm glad we watched it because David Tennant was in it.
Yeah.
I knew it would have flopped.
Oh, no. Okay. So, obviously, love Armie Hammer and love Dakota Johnson. They play a couple and they have literally no chemistry. He's just a dirtbag who's hitting on his best mate's girlfriend, even though his best mate's there. And
oh my God.
Yeah, and then it's creepy with all the bugs. However, it is so slow, and I'm not exaggerating. Literally 20 minutes to go, the movie starts getting amazing. You're like, there's story happening. This is great. This is great. And then it just ends. And you're like, but why?
It leaves you angry when it does that.
Oh, I was like PO'd.
Yeah.
And then I went on like Facebook and stuff, and everybody's like, it is literally one of the best movies. Armie's a great actor. I'm just like,
they are
no.
people who are blinded by the actor.
Not even Armie Hammer could save that movie.
I've got news.
And I mean half naked Armie Hammer could not even save that movie.
Let's just skip him.
I'm shooketh.
Shooketh. Okay, my news.
Yes, please.
I got free tickets to go to an advanced screening of Dr. Sleep at Event Cinemas. Thank you,
That's one
Event
movie
Cinemas.
I've never seen either.
So, The Shining. If you've seen the original, this next movie is good. It's not a remake, so it's a continuation, and it does it well that it doesn't seem like a remake. So it goes and refers back to the original, but it doesn't do it in a sense that it's the original stealing the show of this one.
Or it's making like an homage to it or something.
Yeah, so in the first one, you knew that the kid had The Shining, right? And you saw about 2 scenes of it. The rest of that film focused on Jack Nicholson and his descent into madness, which I could see so much of the Joker in that when I went back and rewatched it. And he does it so well in the original. So it focused a lot more on him and his side of it. Whereas this one, it continues on. That's Danny, but as an adult. Ewan McGregor is in it, so he plays Danny. And it's just good to see more into what that actual film's called, The Shining, and you go into that a bit more. And it was done really, really well.
Okay, cool. Because you know me, I'm not into horror.
Well, I mean, I've got quite a few films to pick next year, so maybe my choices will be...
Everyone always says I'm very selfish when I choose my movies. I'm like, I want this. I don't like it. Let's all just choose
you know what? I'm going to adopt that, and I'm going to start picking films that I want to watch.
Because, I mean, I'm choosing 2 next year.
Straight back to back. But that's okay. So actually, since we're here, let's talk about it. So next month is our Christmas episode. And we're actually going to be doing the Jim Carrey Grinch.
Yep.
And we're going to be doing the 2018 cartoon Grinch that had Benedict Cumberbatch in it.
Yes.
We've already got...
Butternut Frankel fries. Butternut French... Wait, one of my friends calls him butternut French fries.
That's funny.
I think that's what it is.
That's,
Butternut French
that's
fries.
terrible.
Yeah.
So that's our Christmas special. We have already chosen our January and February episodes. So I might as well tell you because one of them you are going to have to try and make sure you go and see during the Christmas holidays.
Yes, we're doing Little Women.
Yes, so in January we're going to do the Winona Ryder Little Women and the new one. So we're going to do the book, but somebody has chosen a book for February and I might as well let her say it.
Yes, I can't wait for February. So we're doing Call Me By Your Name. Be prepared for me to talk about it for 3.5 hours. And we're also going to get a special guest on to that episode as well.
Yes, we will reveal that one a little bit closer to the time. So either read the book if you can, or if you're like me and not a big reader, listen to it through audio.
So sad, like listen to it.
Well, I mean, listen to it.
Yeah, and it's also read by Armie Hammer.
I think this is going to be a really interesting one for us to do, actually, because you love the two actors.
Yes.
I'm meh. Like, they're great actors,
You've never
but
seen what they can do.
I have watched their films. Well, I mean, I've watched Armie Hammer's films.
You haven't watched Timmy's films?
No.
Then? Okay.
No. So, like, I to me, they're just actors. I'm not, super in love with them and I don't hate them. But I think it'll be good to see a different view of this.
Yeah.
Because I think most people you chat to are also obsessed.
That's why they're my friends. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see how we bounce off each other in that one.
And so we're doing 2 Timothée Chalamet movies. So which is he's
2
in
in a
Little
row.
Women and
I think he
Call Me
looks
By
good
Your
in
Name.
Little Women. I think
Yeah.
I remember saying to you, this is the first time I've seen him as a guy. I don't know. It just, he looks good in Little Women. I think it's the suit.
Okay, so let's stop. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll literally do an entire bonus episode.
Yes. Well, stay tuned because next year is going to be great. Get your friends to listen to us. Get your friends to follow us.
Yes, follow
Share us around. Email us.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can email us at
nerdazons@outlook.com.
and you can listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and wherever you listen to good podcasts.
All right. We'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.